Welcome in to our new unit, percents. So percents builds off of proportions. We kind of could have combined them a little bit, but we decided not to. They're separate. But we're going to start with percents. But today we're going to review proportions because proportion and percents can be viewed very similarly. All right, let's start with some questions before we get started. No, I don't like that one. What do you call a person who studies the weather? What do you call a person who studies the weather? So here's what we're going to do. Put your hands down. Write it somewhere on your notes, what you think their answer is. Write question number 1, and then write the answer of what you think it is. What do you call a person who studies the weather? And we'll go ahead and do the second one too. Second question. How many elements are in the periodic table? How many elements are in the periodic table? You may not know that one. You'll know that as an 8th grader, though. All right, let's get started on today's notes. A proportion is a term used when there are two equal ratios. Proportions can be used to solve for missing pieces of information. Ways to solve proportions. We've done cross multiplication and we've also done scaling. Scaling means looking at these, are those proportional? Yes, as you can see that it went up by 3 times on each one. Okay? Cross multiplication is the butterfly, aka butterfly. All right, use the images below to predict how many pairs of goggles and how many life jackets the surf shop should order. Well, first of all, let me just go ahead and count them. There are 8 life jackets, I think. Yep, there's 8 of these. And there are 6 goggles. All right, so what is life jackets to goggles? So life jackets is 8, goggles is 6. That's not simplified because 2 will go into both of those. So it actually should be 4-3. Another way to write that would be 8/6, and the last one would be 8.6. Both of those need to be simplified into 4/3. Okay. So this is the not simplified version. And this is the simplified version. Now, on your ACAP, it's not always simplified. So I just want you to see it both ways. All right, example 2, goggles to total. All right, so how many goggles? So we're going goggles to total. There's 6 goggles. How many total items is there up there? So there's 6 goggles. How many total items? 6 plus 8 is 14. Now that will simplify. 2 will go into both of those, and it becomes 3-7, 3/7, or 3.7. All right, number 3. If there's 39 pairs of goggles are ordered, how many life jackets should be ordered? This is example 1, so let's use that ratio. So there's 39 pairs of goggles. Let's put goggles up here. How many life jackets? I don't know. But I do know the ratio was 4 to 3. Now, there's 2 ways to do that. Number 1, you could do the butterfly, and we'll go over that in just a second. Or you could look at this 3 right here, and how many times will that go into 39? It'll go in there 13 times. So you went 3 times 13 to get 39, so you're going to do the same exact thing to the top. And 13 times 4, I believe, is 52. All right, so there's 52 jackets. Because that would have been 52. Now, the other way to have done that is the butterfly. And let's do that. 39 times 4, and then 3 times x. So 3 times x is 3x equals 39 times 4, which I'll be honest with you, I really don't know what that is. 40 times 4 is 160 minus 4, so it's 136. And then you would have divided 3, and you would have gotten x equals 52, which is the same thing as up above. So you could have used the butterfly had you wanted to. I would personally use the butterfly as long as you understand what you were doing, because they're not always as simple as finding out it's multiplied by 13. All right, moving on. The next problem. If there's 30 sets of goggles ordered, how many total items should the surf shop order? Well, first of all, there's going to be goggles and total. So we're ordering, okay, we're ordering 30 goggles. The ratio was 6 to 14 originally. We need to know the total. All right. So now what you need to do is find out how they went from 6 to 30. They multiplied by 5. So you're going to do the same thing on the bottom. $14 times 5 is 70. So it should have been 70 total items. If you wanted to do the butterfly, I'm going to do the butterfly down below. You would have had 30 over x equals 6 over 14. That's the original versus what we have now. Then you would have did the butterfly. 30 times 14 is 6 times x. 6 times x is 6x. 30 times 14 is a big old number, and I don't know what it is. It's 420. And then you're going to divide 6 by 420. And you're going to get x equals 70, which is the same thing you had over there. Okay? All right, I'm going to zoom out and let you get any of that you may have missed. And 2 more questions coming at you. I'll give you just a second to copy that down. All right. What is the largest internal organ in the human body? This is number 3. What is the largest internal organ in the human body? All right, and the last one for just now, number 4. What are droplets of water, which can be also called rain, snow, sleet, or hail, that form in the atmosphere and fall back to the earth called? So what are the droplets of water, which can be rain, snow, sleet, or hail, that form in the atmosphere and fall back to earth called? What do we call that? All right, moving on. Edgar, I lost all that. Oh well. Edgar played a quiz game in which he answered 15 questions and got 3 incorrect. At this rate, how many questions should Edgar expect to answer correctly if he answers a total of 405? So he answered 15 correct. He missed 3. So how many total did he answer? 18. So this is correct. This is total. Why do I need that? Because they want to know how many he got correct if there was a total of 405. So now I'm just going to set up the other. Oops, my bad. How many did he get correct? I don't know, but I do know there was a total of 405. Now, this is why I would use the butterfly, because if you try to figure out how many times 18 goes into 405, I'll be honest with you, I really don't know off the top of my head, okay? And just so you know, it's 22 and a half. So you could divide 405 divided by 18 and see how many times 18 goes in there, which is 22 and a half. So you could have said, 18 goes into 405 22 and a half times. So they went 22 times 22.5. So I could do the same thing right there. I could go 15 times 22.5. And when I do that, I'm going to get 337.5. No. $405. All right, exactly why I wouldn't do it that way. I don't confuse myself, and I ain't gonna try to figure it out. We're gonna do the butterfly. All right. Now, how many questions did he get right out of the total 405? All right, so we're gonna go 18 times x, which is 18x. Then we're gonna go 15 times 405. Big number. 6,075. You got to be doo-dooing me. Let's rewrite that whole problem. 15 over 18 equals x over 405. 18x, we said that was 6,075. Divide that by 18. Coach Barman screwed the whole problem up. Let's just start over because I read the problem wrong. Edgar played in a game which he answered 15 questions and got 3 incorrect. He only answered 15. So how many did he get correct? 12. So now we want to know x over 405. He only answered 15, not he got 15 correct. I read it wrong, and nobody corrected me. Now, 15 times x is 15x. 12 times 405 is 4,860. Divide by 15. And you're going to get x equals 324. So if he were to answer 405 questions, he would get 324 correct. All right, I am going to re-explain that because I did screw up. Edgar played a game in which he answered 15 questions and got 3 incorrect. So that means he got 12 right. If he got 3 out of 15 wrong, that means he got 12 right. Okay? That is where this 12 came from that I just highlighted in green. He got 12 out of 15 right. That's where I got those two numbers. Why did I choose to use them in that way? Because if we continue to read, the question asks, how many questions should he expect to get correct if he answers a total? So that's why we went correct. We don't know how many he would get correct, but we do know the total would be 405. So we're comparing two things that are similar, and that's why we can use that proportional ratio set up there. All right, back page. What is the hardest natural substance in the world? This is number 5. What is the hardest natural substance in the world? We're only going to do one for now. All right, to the back page. A rate can also be set up as a proportion. Again, we've already done this before. We've talked about it and we've done it. What is the rate of the moped? Well, it tells us right there it's 30 miles per hour. Okay? How many hours will it take the moped to travel 217.5 miles? Well, miles over hours. He's going 30 miles per 1 hour. So the other setup would be, how far does it take him to travel 217.5? I don't know. Okay, but I can figure it out. Oh, he's going 217 miles. I screwed that up, not hours. He's going 217.5. There we go. All right, 30 times x, 1 times 217.5. So you have 30x 217.5 equals. Now what do? You just divide by 30x, and you're left with x equals 7.25. So it will take him 7.25 hours. So 7.25 hours. If you're good with math, it's 7 hours and 1/4. 1/4 of 60 is 7 hours and 15 minutes. I would have taken 7.25, but I also would have taken 7 hours and 15 minutes. How do I know 0.25 of an hour is 15 minutes? Okay. Because I know it is 1/4 of 100. 25 is 1/4 of 100. So the fraction form of that is 1/4. And I know I can divide 60 minutes into 4 parts that are 15 minutes. So it is 7.25, 7 1/4, or 7 hours, 15 minutes. All right, number 9. What is the rate of the bus? 55 miles per hour. How do I know that? It's right there, guys. How many miles will the bus travel in 4.5 hours? So it's going miles over hour. So it's 55 miles per hour. And on the other half, we have, I don't know how many miles. It's asking how many miles in 4.5 hours. Again, 55 times 4.5 is 247.5. And then 1 times x is just 1x. Divide by 1. And you get x equals 247.5 miles. Let's get one more question. What is the human's average temperature? This is question number 6. What is a human's average internal body temperature? If you stick a temperature probe in your under your tongue, like the nurse does, what should it read, or what's normal? And the last one for right now, how many let's do this. How many tentacles does an octopus have? How many tentacles does an octopus have? UFC people, octagon, how many sides? All right. Number 10. A small university enrolls in-state and out-of-state students. The number of students enrolled in the most recent freshman class was 243. That's probably something we need to know. How do I make that smaller? There we go. 243. The schools reported that it enrolled 7 in-state students for every 2 out-of-state students. That's probably something we need to know. And the question is, how many of each type of student was enrolled? Okay, so those are the 3 things that I probably need. What do I know? I know that there was a total students was 243. The in-state was 7. Out-of-state was 2. So that's going to be important there. The in-state to out-of-state was 7 over 2. Could I put out-of-state on top? Yes, because it didn't tell me if I needed to put it on top or bottom. Okay? All right. So there were 7 in-state to every 2 out-of-state. What do I need to know? I need to know how many of each type of student enrolled in the freshman class. So I need to know how many of each type of student enrolled in the freshman class. How many of each type of student enrolled in the freshman class? Class. Hey, let's hear a dad joke while y'all writing that down.
Where do vampires shop?
Where do vampires shop?
Forever 21.
Forever 21. Vampires shop at Forever 21.
What did the buffalo say to his son when he dropped him?
Oh, I know this one. Bye, son.
Bye, son.
What did the buffalo say to his son when he left for school? One more before we move on.
I could tell a joke about pizza, but it's a little cheesy.
I can tell a joke about pizza, but it's a little cheesy. All right. Plan and work. So what is our in-state kids? So we're going to do in-state kids here. And then over here, we're going to do out-of-state. All right, we need to know the total amount of kids. So we really got to think about this. The in-state kids, there are 7 in-state kids to a total of, out of 9 kids, 7 are in-state. How did I get that? Because how many total kids is in that first ratio there? 9. So there's 7 in-state to 9 total. So what would the out-of-state ratio be? 2 to what? 9. Now, they gave us the total, which was 243, and they want to know how many in-state there is. We can compare these ratios. Why? Because this is the total amount of in-state. This, over here I just circled, is just the simplest form of the one to the right. That's all it is. They are proportions, which means they are the same. One is just bigger or smaller than the other. They're proportional. Okay? All right. So there is a total of 9 here and a total of 243. And there's 7 in-state for every 9 out-of-state. So how many, if you make that 243, how many would that be? So that's all we're doing. We're taking this 9 to 243, and then we're going to take this 7 to whatever that number is. Okay? So there's two ways to do it. You can figure out how many times 9 goes into 243, if that's what you want to do. You can scale it up. So to do that, you just divide 243 divided by 9, and you're going to end up multiplying by 27. So guess what you're going to do on the top? The same exact thing. You're going to multiply by 27. 7 times 27 is 189. I need to write that in green, don't I? 189. So there's 189 in-state students. All right, out-of-states. Same thing. There's 2 for every 9 total. So we're going to do the same thing. We know the total is 243. So how many times will 9 go into 243? We've already figured that out. That was already 27. So you're just going to multiply 2 times 27, and you're going to get 54. So there's 54 out-of-state students. How do I know my answer is correct? Can I just add these up and see if that equals the total amount of students they told me? Yes, so I just go 189 plus 54, and guess what I get? 243, which is what they told me the total students was. So I know my answers are correct. Okay? So I'm just going to come over here and go 189 and 54. 54 is out of state, and 189 is in state. All right, I'm going to zoom out, let you get all that. As you write, I have 2 more questions, and I'll give you the answers. Let's just go one more question. How many planets are smaller than Earth? How many planets are smaller than Earth? Pluto is not a planet. All right, so here's what I want you to do. Mark the answers you got incorrect and circle the ones you got correct. There should be 8 questions. Number 1 was meteorologist. Number 2 was 118. Number 3 is your liver. Number 4 was precipitation. Number 5 was diamond. Number 6 was 98.6. Number 7 was 8. And number 8 was 3 planets, Mercury, Venus, and Mars. 3, Mercury, Venus, and Mars. So I'll repeat those one more time. Number 1 was meteorologist. Number 2 was 118. Number 3 was liver. Number 4 is precipitation. Number 5 is diamond. Number 6 is 98.6. Number 7 is 8. And number 8 is 3. All right, so the way this is going to work as we go through this every day is the person who got the most right, you're going to win 3 bathroom passes. The person who got the second most right is going to win 2, and whoever takes third place will win 1. What if there's a tie? Y'all know how we solve ties in here. All right, that's all for today. I'll see you on the flip side. Adios, amigos.